When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.
Hey, welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drew B. Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing it to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community. So let's be honest, this is the greatest job on earth. Doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, you can create an amazing life in sales. Today's guest, definitely no stranger to that journey. I'd like to welcome Keith Kakadia.
Hello. And yes, I agree. Best job in the world.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Best
Well, I'm
job,
excited to have you on.
All across the board win.
You got it, man. Well, let's just jump right in. I want to hear your crazy sales story.
Yeah, man. So it'd probably be helpful to give a little background about myself. My name's Keith. I'm the CEO of Socially In. I've been doing this now for 14 years. So I've been in sales approximately 15 years because I had another company before I started Socially In. But we're one of the only agencies in the nation that focuses 100% on social media. And I lead sales. We do have another sales guy. He's our chief revenue officer. But sales does fall on my plate. And a crazy sales story, I'm trying to think. I have so many. I'll give you 2 quick ones. One was we were really close to winning a deal, which is really important, especially for sales guys who get RFPs. In the RFP, it said, hey, your proposal should be no more than 5 pages. This is for a $60,000 deal. Your proposal should be no more than 5 pages. I have the introductory call with them. We kick it off. We vibe. They're like, yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. And remember, procurement's involved, and procurement set those standards of no more than 5 pages. So I end up submitting a proposal, and my dumbass puts our intro image as page number 1, and then 5 pages worth of proposal, because our proposals are actually longer than 5 pages, but I dumbed it down to 5 pages, and then I had our cover image, just literally our logo, and thank you for allowing us to submit this. And they did not let us move forward in that project because it was a 6-page submission and not a 5-page submission. And that was the first time that, I had an experience dealing with procurement. And I was just like, holy crap, this is a whole different game. So just paying attention to all of that. And I just thought that was like super crazy to get rid of a potential vendor because they had 6 pages, not 5.
Yeah, attention to detail is one of those things that the longer you're in sales, the more you start to recognize it means more than you think. And there are people out there who are extremely literal. And when they say 5 pages, that's what the heck they mean. And you and I are we're probably more of the creative type just because of the way we do sales. And I know based on looking at your profile, you're kind of just like, all right, well, this is the process, right? We got to give you the cover letter so that within it, you know what the heck's going on.
Massive lesson learned, $60,000 lesson.
Hey, brother, I just had one of those expensive lessons myself. We had a big corporate client, and apparently I wasn't thinking about the HR side of $100+ million business, and I made a silly joke in jest and ended up losing that client because of a silly joke that I made. But you got to go through these things. In my opinion, I've used the joke in dozens of other presentations and number of different companies and never had anyone ever get upset about it. Granted, it was still a learning lesson for me, right? Yeah. And a very expensive lesson, just like yours. It's like, well, that one cost us $60,000. So now let's not make that mistake again. And what I'd be curious about, being in the social media business, right? One of the things I think that's super interesting to me about sales and what I love nerding out on is like, there's an aspect of the marketing that you have to understand to be a great salesperson. And a salesperson who can generate their own leads can write their own paycheck. So like, what are some of the things that you're seeing right now that are maybe like underrated or overrated when it comes to using social media?
Yeah, so overrated is going to be the fact that everyone thinks that you got to be on every single platform, right? Like I hear brands do this all the time. They launch a new brand and they're like, okay, let's get on every single platform versus when the resources are not there. Underrated are 2 platforms, especially if you're in B2B sales. And I think you know what I'm about to say. But first is going to be LinkedIn, going all in on LinkedIn, putting out video content, exactly what we're doing here, recording a 25-minute podcast, chopping it up into short clips and using that. And then another really big slept one slept on one is X. A lot of decision makers are on X. If you're able to provide value, you're able to be seen. If you're able to jump into conversations where it's relevant, again, you'll be seen. So undervalued, those two platforms, especially if you're in B2B sales, going all in there, LinkedIn and X, I think is really undervalued. And then overrated is trying to be on every platform because, that's what you think you should do.
I love this conversation, as a matter of fact, especially when it comes to sales, because it's kind of like some people come into sales and they're like, all right, I've got to sell everybody that has a credit card and a
Right.
pulse that owns a business. Worst idea you will ever have, you guys.
100%.
Trust me, it will kill you. And what I love about this is that you're essentially telling them, hey, niche down, like focus on one platform, one acquisition place, like one area that you can really spend your time and be focused. And there's a Ron Swanson quote that I love. It's like, you can't ride two horses with one ass, right? Like,
Exactly
don't
right.
half-ass two things. And so,
Exactly right. And then I would even take it a step further, right? Like LinkedIn, for example, is a huge platform. Take it a step further and develop your ICP, right? Like this is really basic sales stuff we're talking about here, but you don't want to go after the entire market that you can sell to on LinkedIn. Maybe focus and putting out content of what your ICP cares about. And you might have 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 different ICPs, but try to focus on a few of them, go all in on the educational, value driven content, and it'll reap returns. And it doesn't happen overnight, right? Like you start posting on LinkedIn today, it's not going to work out, right? Like it's going to take 6 months, it's going to take a year, but then you'll start seeing those returns.
yeah, and I think the thing a lot of people miss in this conversation, so I want to touch on it and get your perspective, is you can't just go and post content and expect people to come and love you. You have
Right.
to actively engage with other members of the platform in order for the algorithm on that platform to show you to more people. So the
Exactly.
more
And
active you are, the better it's going to be.
yeah, you're hitting it on the point, right? So one of the things we say is you should do all of the activities that you can on LinkedIn. So that's going to include adding people to your network, cleaning up your inbox, messaging all of the people that messaged you, even if they're soliciting and you're just like, yeah, I'm not interested. Engaging with posts that are outside of your ICP, obviously sharing content. So there's so many different activities that you can do on LinkedIn. And when you do those activities, the algorithm sees that, hey, this person's putting in the effort. Maybe we should reward them with some algorithm love.
I love that. So let's dive in a little deeper on that. Like, what's the content strategy that people need to be thinking about in 2025, right? Because we got the engagement side. We know we need to
Yeah.
go and work with this, but like, what kind of content is actually working in 2025 and going into 2026 at this point?
Yeah. So, a couple of things. One, you want to start with a content plan. So, we think about the content plan in the form of categories, right? So, for me, it's going to be educational, social media marketing content. It's going to be client work related content. It's going to be culture content, so showing off the team. Then a mix of personal content. This is where a lot of B2B marketers get it wrong, where it's like, okay, I have an ICP, I'm on LinkedIn. I should only talk about the things that the ICP cares about, and you lose that human touch, right? The social part of social media. So for me, I'm posting about, I'm a huge advocate of like street food. So every time I get an opportunity to do a street food tour or something like that, I'm posting about street food. Literally, if you go to my LinkedIn, I'm posting about travel. I'm posting about all of the fun things that we do as a team, because fun is built in our mission. So like when we do retreats or the management team comes out to Atlanta, we're going to the bowling alley, we're going to the bar, we're going to a jazz festival, whatever it looks like. And I'm showcasing that human side of Keith, not only the social media marketer Keith. So incorporating that educational, entertaining content with stuff that you actually care about is going to reap a lot of rewards. My most engaged post was actually when I got married. I posted about it, and that blew up. So
Mm.
every little thing matters. And then if you look at the ICP, if you look at the people who engaged with that marriage post, a lot of them are my ICP, and then I can nurture them. I can reach out to them. I can say, hey, thanks for saying congratulations or whatever, and then build that relation over time.
Yeah, that's so smart, man. And I love that you said that, because there's an aspect of social media that is truly about, like, this is how the algorithms are built, you guys. Like, this platform, all of them, whether it's LinkedIn, X, YouTube. Well, YouTube's kind of search friendly, but like, let's say Facebook, Instagram, it's designed around the idea that it's for people to connect with other people.
Exactly
And
right.
so it doesn't matter if you're in the business to consumer space or the business to business space, you're still dealing with people, and people care about more than just work stuff. And
100%.
and being entertaining in a way that's genuinely you, right? Posting about street food. I for like so going back to that big deal that I lost, I was doing a training on social media for our sales coaching clients, and I was talking about social media, and I'm like, I use form, right? This is kind of an old school sales acronym: family, occupation, recreation, motivation. And
I
then
like
I
it.
always joke around because I have meme lord tattooed across my knuckles
That's
because
cool.
I've used memes to like do marketing and sales. And so I talk about memes, and then I'm a big fan of smoked meat. And so I smoke a lot
Me
of
too.
brisket. And so I like to post pictures of my brisket and say, "Hey guys, look at my meat. How good is my meat?" Like,
Love
and I
that.
and I joke about that, right? Well, some people don't find that very funny. It's not HR appropriate, apparently, but I also realize that's genuinely who I am and
Yeah,
how
I mean,
I
those people you're
act.
not going to connect with anyway on a deeper level, right? Like when
And
it comes
that's the
down
key
to,
right there,
yeah,
right? As you mentioned, it's those people that connect with you from an emotional standpoint because they're like, I like what this guy's got going on.
exactly,
He's silly. He's my people. I see that he's also involved in some of these other things because when you rotate through the content and you do a little of this and you remember that it's 80% for the people who are watching your stuff and then like 20% for you to be able to sell your products and services, the formula works. And what I think would be interesting, to know from you is like, as you leaned in on this, did you have hesitation at first, or were you kind of just like, I'm just gonna
oh,
be
for
me
sure.
and see what works?
Oh no, man, I had super hesitation. One, because when I was first starting the company, I was 19, so there was a lot of imposter syndrome, and we were talking to like Fortune 500 companies. Now I'm older, I'm 34, and I actually have a real suit, not a baggy suit. So it's like I feel a little bit more confident walking into these rooms. But for sure, in the beginning stages, like I don't want to share what I'm doing. I mean, we used to do Whiskey Wednesdays, and I really don't think the Fortune 500 CMOs are like, yeah, let's work with the kids who are doing Whiskey Wednesday every Wednesday. So for sure in the beginning stages, but now I'm at the point in my life where it's like, I like what I like. I want to share it with the world. I'm a social media guy. My entire company revolves around social media. So what am I holding back for? So now if I feel like sharing it, even if it's controversial, I'll do it. I don't really have like super controversial opinions, but I don't really care anymore. I just post what I want to post, and I post about who I am as a person.
Yeah, and I think that's a good reminder for people that it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to go against the grain a little bit, and also be willing to lose followers, be willing to lose specific people that don't genuinely share your opinion on things,
Exactly.
because that is what's going to happen, right? We cancel culture is at an all-time high. People make a post about this and it's like, to the hell with you, you're the worst person
Yeah.
on the planet. It's like, because I don't like certain kinds of ice cream,
Yeah.
like, but
Exactly.
there, when you think about the political landscape and all the stuff that's going on, it's good to remember, like, unless you're really willing to, be on that hard edge, you don't have to share everything. Share the things that create like a genuine conversation, because that's what it's all about, right? How do I
Right.
start engaging conversations with people? Ideally, your ICP, but really just getting people engaged in the platform and getting engaged with your company. And so when you're like onboarding a new business to work with you guys, what's that process look like? Are you kind of doing like a deep dive research, or are you just kind of like, hey, here's our framework and strategy that we install in every business? What's the
No,
process
yeah.
like?
So the strategy is custom for every business. Onboarding, we take the first week and a half to 2 weeks to onboard clients. During that 2 week long process, we're doing a custom social strategy for them. They get introduced to
Nice.
the account team, they get introduced to the producers, they get introduced to the media buyers, the team that is actually going to be working on the account. We have an initial kickoff call. That initial kickoff call is introductions, getting access to the accounts, getting information about their business, getting their brand guidelines, getting the assets that they might have in place, any historical data that they have, like capturing everything that we can. So that way we can start to internalize it and then develop that strategy. At the end of that 2 week period, we present that strategy and say, hey, look, here's your content plan. Here's your engagement plan. Here are the buyer personas that we're going to be creating content for. Here's the community management plan. This is how we're going to be responding to people as the comments start rolling in. here's the media spend, the plan for media spend, and a bunch of other things. If they're doing influencers, here's your influencer plan. And then once they give us 2 thumbs up on that strategy, we move into production. So that's where we're actually creating the content ready to get posted onto social, both for ads and organic. And then every week we're having touch base calls with the client to go over the numbers, go over what's working, what's not working. We have quarterly business reviews with customers. So every 3 months, we're resetting the goals, we're resetting the strategy. But one important thing to mention, because this is a sales podcast, is if it's me, I'm definitely involved, like up until strategy is approved. But even Lorenzo, even old salespeople that we've had, we've required them to be involved in the onboarding process. Because historically, what we would do is we'd make a sale, and then the sales guy is like totally out of the picture. They don't hear from the sales guy again until there's an upsell opportunity, or some opportunity for him or her to make some more money. But we require the salespeople to be a part of that onboarding process, sometimes even a part of that initial kickoff call. So that way the client doesn't feel like, oh man, this guy just sold me and he's gone.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I'm a big believer in sales professionals that can also act somewhat as customer account managers, right? A customer service
Exactly.
manager. And I don't want to take away from a salesperson's main role, which is secure the bag, right? You've got a business develop, you've got to close deals. However, lifetime value, the retention of those clients is hugely dependent upon the transition from coming in, them paying the payment, to them feeling confident that, hey, this person that took my money is also going to be here to make sure that the thing that I paid for is what I'm getting. and
100%.
and that is what leads to a lot of those cross sale, upsell, referral opportunities that so
Yeah.
many salespeople are missing out on.
Yeah, and one idea personally that I've implemented is having a personal CRM. So obviously we have HubSpot, and all of our sales guys, like, they're living in HubSpot, but I personally have a personal CRM. Now, I'm never leaving Socially In, and I'm not a sales guy, but if I was a salesperson at Socially In, I'd want to build that personal CRM myself in case I ever leave, in case I ever go to a new opportunity. I have those connections that I've personally made with the person, versus, I was just in touch with that person because it was a part of my job. So building your Rolodex, your network over time, and having that personal CRM in place for sales guys, I think that'd be huge.
Yeah, I love that. I use something called the hit list. So every time I talk to someone, whether it's like a really in-depth conversation or it's just super brief, their name goes on a list. I tag them as, hot, cold, sold in conversation, and I kind of just pay attention to who I'm chatting with, because, as a sales guy, you might have 15, 20 conversations in a day. And yeah, we can use AI to record our calls and transcribe and do summaries. And there's some things that you can do to make this an easier process. But at the end of the day, you still need to track, measure, and improve those
100%.
metrics. And
Yeah.
so I want to shift gears, because I am curious, speaking of AI, how much of it are you using right now? I mean, I'm seeing people out there right now that are like AI crazy. They want
That's
AI in
true.
every part of the business. They want everything done. And then there's some folks like me that are still kind of going, hey, I personally believe it's great from a content creation standpoint. I don't believe that it can take over your sales conversations, though.
Yeah, so we call ourselves an AI incorporated agency. So it's not like an AI first agency where there's no humans involved. We're AI incorporated. We're AI incorporated on multiple levels of the agency. So definitely on like the generative side, where we're generating text and images to be able to use in terms of our content. But on the sales side, multiple ways we're using it. One, we're using your basic note takers that transcribe the call and then summarize the call. We use Fathom specifically for that across the board. It ties in very well with HubSpot. We've also done some unique things where we've taken all of those transcribed calls, put them into PDFs, and then uploaded, I think it's like 100 plus PDFs to GPT. Some of them are combined to GPT. And then now we have a GPT that any new salesperson in the future could go ask any sort of question, right? Like if a prospect has a question, I'm sure that question has been asked before. Myself, Lorenzo, has probably answered that, and it's in that database of the sales GPT per se. So that sales GPT has helped a lot in multiple ways, right? Like if there's a question that one of my assistants may not know, they're able to go back to it and then formulate the answer. So those are really the two ways. We've looked at more sophisticated things like Gong, and we probably will start to incorporate Gong. But right now we're using Fathom, and then we've built our own custom GPT with all of our sales calls uploaded to it. So that way it's pretty much a sales rep at the end of the day.
Gosh, man, that's so brilliant, Keith. I love hearing that. We did something not too dissimilar, a while back, where it was like, all right, cool. What we want to do is know that, after we do our initial onboarding call, let's say someone's bought some of our products, maybe a hat, keychain, wristband, maybe they bought one of our training courses. Like, we always onboard them first. It's like, hey, you bought something from us. Thank you. We want to tell you how to maximize this investment that you made, whether it's a keychain, a book, a program.
Yep.
Like, we want to make sure you get access, that you're using it, that you're excited about it. And then we want to learn more about you. And then what we'll do is we'll take that onboarding call, and then we'll use that to craft, all right, during our next conversation, what are the conversations and questions we need to be asking specifically relevant to this person that's going to help them decide, hey, we want to continue working with you guys more. So I think, dude, you guys are genius to have done like, hey, here's all of our calls, every question. It's like a giant FAQ, but available in real time.
It gets re-uploaded and updated at the end of every month. Another unique one we're doing, this is less AI, more so like workflow automation, is we built an N8N automation where it'll take a look at my calendar, beginning of the day. It'll go through who I'm meeting with, the prospects that I'm meeting with. It'll go to HubSpot. It'll pull the comment or whatever form fill that they left. It would go out and do research on the company. It'll scrape information from LinkedIn, tell me how many employees the company has, what does the company even do, and it'll send me a Slack message every morning that says, hey, at 9 o'clock, you're meeting with Drewby. He's the CEO of Call the Damn Leads. This is what he put in your form fill. This is what he's looking for. Here's his LinkedIn profile. Here's the website, and kind of in a concise way. And every morning I wake up and boom, here's my agenda for the day. Pre-research done. With historically, we've had to use an assistant to do that. So now that assistant doesn't have to do that. It's all done through AI and workflow automation.
Man, you're a gentleman after my own heart, Keith. I'm grateful we're having this conversation, because I know we're going to get to nerd out like significantly more as we build this relationship. But like I do want to be respectful of your time. What is the best way for someone who's enjoying this conversation to come find you, follow you, check out more about Socially In, just kind of see how your world works?
Yeah. So you can find me everywhere with just my name, Keith Kakadia, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook, everywhere. Just Keith Kakadia, Kakadia. And then my company, Socially In, same thing. Every handle, every place is just Socially In. And then our website is sociallyin.com.
Brand congruence means a lot. And so I appreciate that you're like, hey, man, keep it simple, keep it the same across the board, make it easy for people to find us. And it's no question to me why you guys are as successful as you are and why you've been able to build the business that you have, Keith. Because at the end of the day, you're using the tools at your disposal to be more effective, to be more efficient, and to genuinely help the people that you're having conversations with, which, man, that's what sales is all about.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, man.
Awesome. Well, listen, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you go find and follow Keith. Leave him a comment, send him a message, let him know what you really took away from this conversation. Maybe share it on social, X, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever platform that you spend your time on. Tell the people about it. Maybe even send it to someone that kind of sucks at sales and marketing, and they're like doing this whole social media thing all wrong, and you're like, hey, I just want to share this with you. I think you'll get some value out of it, right? That's the kind of stuff that we can do that makes it.
And if they reach out, I'm an open book. I'm willing to have conversations with anyone and everyone about sales. So open book.
I appreciate that, man. And I will definitely be one of those people reaching out to you, because I'm always interested in what's going on in the big picture and how we can all work together to help the world. So listen, if you guys enjoyed it, leave us a review, send it to somebody, follow Keith, do all the things. But most importantly, get out there, pick up the phone, and call the damn leads. We'll see you guys next week.
When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.